Laura Linney. It's not Downton Abbey. It's Downton Abbey. So I broke down and I got Hulu, and I think they're gonna send me an email saying that I need to pay more than $7.99 a month because they've never had anybody watch so much. I've literally, I don't know. I haven't left my house in 4 days. But anyways, I watched an Australian gay kind of sitcom, you could call it, I guess. It's called Please Like Me, and it's kind of weird and awesome at the same time. It's not like sunny, happy, all of it, but it's an interesting presentation of what I'm gonna call a millennial gay character. Check it out. What is it with guys thinking you're recording them? There's a show on Showtime called Shameless. Every time I watch it, I feel like I have to take a shower. I'm not. I've watched it on and off. I know it's based on, I don't know, either an English show or an Irish show. But there is a character on that show named Lip, Lip Gallagher. He's played by this actor named Jeremy Allen White, and he was always hot. But I think he did like a no carb diet for this season. Holy shit! Here's a picture. Alejandro González Iñárritu. I'm not a labels queen, but I do follow fashion and I watch a lot of documentaries in that genre. And I just saw one called Fresh Dress, just came out on Netflix. It's about how the hip hop cultural movement influenced fashion. Really interesting, fascinating, and they followed like all the brands that came out like Fubu and Echo Unlimited. But one brand that I when the designers came on screen, they kind of caught my eye. It's I don't remember their names, but the name of the brand is Public School, and I've watched a couple of their runway shows, and it's outstanding. Check it out. Wendy Williams every now and then has this lady on her panel. She usually has it when it's fashion stuff. Her name is Bevy Smith. I guess she's on a Bravo show called Fashion Queens, and she is fucking hysterical. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Comedians in cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld. He just did one with President Obama. Oh, Jerry, how I love thee. One more thing about Jerry, because I've gotten a lot from him. Sometimes I think he's funnier in conversation than he is in stand-up. He's got a craft about developing a joke that is old school and set on punchline and all that, and he's good. He's good. He's great actually, but there's something curmudgeony and cranky about him that comes out in his conversation that I love. I love you, Jerry. All right, so I'm finishing Andy Cohen's Diaries. It's his second book, and let me disclaim everything I'm going to say, both good and bad, by saying that I'm jealous and envious because I had a little talk show at one point, and I did aspire to sort of what he does because he's definitely a media junkie. He's definitely addicted to popular culture, and he watches a lot and reads a lot. Okay, let's begin. I've never been a fan of the Real Housewives franchise. I think he is an evil genius for having capitalized on that, but I don't like those shows. I can't watch them. They give me anxiety. It's all based on conflict, and I think it pits women against women, and that's not good. I do like his talk show, and I do think that he pushes the envelopes. He asks the question under the guise of "This is fun and we drink." He does ask the question. He does push these celebrities, and you can tell he pisses them off sometimes. He does push, and I appreciate that. He modeled his book after Andy Warhol's diaries, which I believe were published in 1989. In that he kept kind of a secret journal for a year of things that happened in his life, and then so he's published it. And I'm gonna say it's really entertaining, and he does dish. He's a showbiz veteran, so he knows how to ride that fine line between giving the public what they want, which is dish, but not really pissing people off. But it's good enough. I mean, there's enough in there that for people like me that are into media and popular culture, you're like, oh, really? Um, I do have to say that at one point in my life, I did want to roll deep in an A-list crowd, but now it sounds, because he does, exhausting. I mean, just reading it, you're like, oh my god, I don't know if I could do that. But I'm gonna stay still. It's a good read, so check it out. And speaking of Andy Cohen, a long time ago, I had Nene Leakes from Atlanta Housewives on Duck Tours, and I'm talking like 6 years ago. And since I don't watch that show, and you could argue that she's the biggest star to come out of the whole franchise, but since I don't watch that show or any of those shows, I didn't know. So she came on, and she came with her husband. I'll never forget this. And she sat right in front, and she was, I'm gonna say, she was real. She was chatty with me. Um, and then proceeded to politely command that I introduce her to the audience. And I was like, since we already developed the rapport, I was like, I felt stupid about saying no. It's just the way it went down. The way it went down. But so I was like, ladies and gentlemen, Nene Leakes from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And she stand up and did a whole, like, and it was literally a smattering of applause. It was like, what? Who is she? So there you go.